What is up, everybody? This is Brian with the Mustard and Mayo, and right now I am sitting at the Pisgah Inn, where it is currently starting to rain again. It's been raining for the last probably 10 or 15 minutes, but I am getting ready to start out on the route for the next drive coming up. This will be the 8th MegaMeat, by my count at least. This will be the second one this year, and on this route we're actually going to be headed to the tail of the Dragon, but rather than just taking the highways and kind of the main roads to get there, which is albeit probably the fastest way to go, we're actually going to take some of my favorite back roads. So we're going to obviously start here at the Pisgah Inn, hang out for about an hour or so. People have an opportunity to get drinks or snacks if they'd like to from either the little general store behind me or the gift shop up ahead of me there. And then we're going to head down the Blue Ridge Parkway all the way to the point we're going to hit Highway 215. Then we're going to take Highway 215 south all the way down to Highway 64. And then Highway 64 is going to take us all the way through Highlands and Cashiers and Lake Toxway and that whole entire area there, where we will actually go through Highlands. You have to take a right when you get to Highlands, and then stay on 64 all the way to where we hit the main highway outside of Franklin. Now from that point we will take the highway for I think 5 miles or something like that, and then we'll have Highway 1606 or Waya Road, depending on how you say it, and that'll actually take us all the way, and that's probably one of my favorite roads in the whole entire route, honestly. That road is fairly long. It's almost curvy and mountainous the whole entire way. We'll go up the mountain, down the mountain, and then follow the river. There's a last part that follows the river, which is a super fun section, all the way to the point where we pretty much tee up with 129. Now we'll be just south of the Robbinsville area, but we'll take 129 all the way into town, and then obviously continue through Robbinsville, top off on gas if we need to, and head to the tail of the Dragon. All right, so let's go ahead and get this drive started, and I'll make sure to share my journey with you. This is the main meeting area, parking area. You can see it is just pouring rain today. Pisgah Inn is straight over here, way off in the distance, with the gift shop right there through the trees. And then behind us, way over here on the far side of the parking lot, just around these cars, is the general store. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. My least favorite thing about the parkway, or honestly anything about driving in the mountains. You can see on the heads up display we're doing 30 miles an hour. Yay. Alright, so we just passed Devil's Courthouse, and we just passed the first sign for 215, and we're getting ready to take the right on the 215. You can see there's a little merge lane for it, and since we are going to be going on 215 south, once we take the right turn onto this little on-ramp, then we'll actually continue to stay right down the hill on 215 south. If you were to take 215 north, that would actually take you back into like the Canton, Waynesville area, depending on how you route it. You can see there's a Blue Ridge Parkway there, and we'll go ahead and head down the mountain. From here, we'll stay all the way down until we hit 64. All right, so 215 is kind of like really more like 3 sections of road. This upper portion right where we got off the parkway, it's all downhill, but this upper section is a lot more fast sweepers. And some of these can really sneak up on you, so you've got to really be careful and make sure you're paying attention, because some of these corners are a lot faster than you would think, and then they'll tighten up, and then that'll leave you in a pickle trying to figure out where the traction went. So this is the upper section. There's going to be a middle section that's a lot more flattened out and is kind of in the countryside, and then it'll kind of get twisty again towards the bottom. Less sweepers, more of the tighter stuff. It's just a little taste of what this road is right here. All right, so we're now on the southern portion of 215, which is actually my favorite part. It's finally stopped raining, which is nice too. And naturally, we have found traffic yet again. Pretty typical of a day driving in the mountains. All right, so enjoying some back roads. And of course I get this lovely little notification. And then of course, as you can see on the gauge cluster here, the RPMs have greatly been limited. I'm basically just coasting down the mountain right now. I have what I believe is a misfire, just from the sound and the feel of it, especially since I've been through this before with BMW, and it's probably going to be a bad coil pack. It's just what generally seems to happen with these. So we'll get stopped, run the check engine light, and we'll see what it is. All right, sit rep. So I am not too far from my house right now. So I'm actually limping the BMW back to the house because upon reading the check engine codes, it seems like there is a bad fuel pressure rail sensor, which is apparently a somewhat common problem on these cars. I thought it was a misfire, it's causing a misfire, but I'm gonna have to look into that. If the sensor is in it, which thankfully it's about a $40 to $60 sensor, so it's not too hard to get. It only takes maybe about an hour or so to replace, so not too bad to do there either. But if the problem still persists once the sensor is replaced, that probably means that one of the two high pressure fuel pumps might have died. So I'm hoping that it's going to be the sensor, mainly because the fuel pumps are very expensive. They're about $700 a piece, and there's two of them. So the best recommendation is to replace both when that happens. So fingers crossed, all it is the sensor, but we're gonna run to the house and switch out for the Celica. That way we can continue on the route planning. All right, we are back on 215 in the Celica, and man, what a weird what a weird car to jump into after being in the M3. Such a different experience. M3 is obviously way better in every single way, but the thing that's always fun about the Celica is that it's just so much lighter. I'd almost be willing to bet, without looking at the spec sheet, that this is probably half the weight of the M3, and you feel it in every capacity. Like, even though the brakes are nowhere near as good, I mean by far nowhere near as good, and the power is way less than half, it just feels a lot lighter, a lot more tossable. The steering is nice and light. You definitely don't have, like, I don't even think this car has ABS, so being kind of in these rainy conditions isn't my favorite for having you know, okay-ish brakes like that. But either way, the show must go on, so I'm looking forward to driving the rest of the drive. It looks a lot darker, just because we just can't seem to get out of the rain clouds today. So I'm hoping that as I get onto 64, things will change. The good news, at least, of having to switch out cars, is I get to drive one of my favorite parts of 215, which is the the north side of 215, which would be the left turn going down from the parkway that I was talking about earlier. So this is a fun part of road. We did it on the last drive, so at least get to enjoy it today. That's the good news out of this, I guess. All right, let's carry on. Man, how the conditions change quickly. We are back where we started recording earlier when we went down 215. Oh, and there you go. And you can definitely see it's back to raining again, which seems to be the theme of the day for weather. And we've got tons of fog that we're going in and out of as well. So we'll continue on. And the next time I'll see you guys is when we're actually making the right turn onto 64. All right, we are coming up on the base of 215. We've got Headwaters Outfitters here on the right. We will do a quick pause here at the stop sign just to give people a chance to get caught up. But since it's not really enough room for a group and I don't really want to overtake someone else's business parking lot, we'll just do the pause, and then we'll just continue on to Highway 64 to the right here. This Highway 64 will take us all the way through Lake Toxaway, and then through Cashiers, and then through Highlands, and then on from there. So we'll show you a little bit of Highway 64 as we get to some of the fun parts, and we'll keep on going. All right, so I'm still on 64. I'm in Cashiers, North Carolina right now. This is the unfortunately the most boring part of this whole entire drive. You just stay on the road. We kind of pass through this small little town with some gas stations, and there's an Ingles and stuff like that up here. So you just have to kind of suffer through this part of things, and then the next stop will be up in the Highlands area. All right, we are pulling into Highlands. We just passed the Sphinx on the left. We are about to head into the downtown area. As you can see right here on the map, it's going to be another right-hand turn. I'll show you as we get into town what to kind of expect. It's definitely, and who knows on a Sunday if it's going to be crowded or not, but you're going to come up to one main red light, and this is going to be the downtown Highlands area and also the right turn for Highway 64. Ideally, this is where we're going to be stopping. There's tons of parking right here in the middle of town. If people want to, again, get snacks, I'm going to take a look at any lunch destinations and see if there's somebody that would be able to accommodate a group of our size. But this is going to be our kind of halfway point to stop, regroup, and kind of catch up on things. So you'll see I'll make the right-hand turn here. So depending on how open this is, we'll determine on if this is going to be our stop or not. There's plenty of parking on both sides of the road. We'll just have to see on a Sunday morning how empty this might be. Worst case scenario, there's a couple gas stations up the road if it's too crammed. All right, new plan. So as we get through Highlands, I really do think there's going to be a ton of cars downtown. There's a ton of cars, a ton of people now. So what we'll actually do is continue on 64 like normal, but as you can see up here at this red light, there is a gas station on the left, as well as a little convenience store on the right. And this big building you can see through the left of the windshield with all the parking is actually a post office. And this is a great spot. You can see there's a little spot to turn in right here. So this will be our regroup point. So we'll all just pull in here. You can see there's tons of parking here for us to regroup. This will also be a great spot to go ahead and if anybody needs to top off on fuel, or if anybody needs to use a restroom or get a snack or any of that kind of stuff, they'll have that chance to do so. So again, from the parking lot here, you can see there's a little gas station there. I actually went in there. They've got a ton of like snacks, and they've got like typical kind of gas station like sandwiches in the coolers. There is a Mexican restaurant here if you think you can order something quick enough and get it to go. Or there's a little convenience store as well, which has the same kind of amenities over there also. There's a couple other businesses kind of up and down the strip here, but this seems to be the majority of what I'd recommend. So you see tons of room here in the post office. I'll put this on the map, and this will be our kind of halfway point regroup before we head down 64 all the way into Franklin. All right, so here we are exiting the post office. You can see there's this new fire department being built right across from us here. We will continue left. Highlands is over here to my right, and the path that we'll be going is 64, which continues on this way. Oh, look, there's a little Miata coming up. Hello, Miata. Goodness gracious, there's a ton of traffic coming out through here. All right, let's go. All right, so this is 64. Now this is one of those roads that is definitely on my top 10 list and possibly on my top 5 list, depending on what mood I'm in. It's just a great driving road, and there's all kinds of cool stuff. Like you can see the covered wood bridge here, which makes for some cool photos. There are at least 2 or 3 waterfalls that are easy to get to from here. with the most famous being Bridal Veil, which I'll probably show here in a minute, as well as Dry Falls. Neither one of these we'll be able to really see unless we only have like a handful of cars, mainly just because parking is restricted. But Bridal Veil is great because that's the one that is right off the side of the road, and then Dry Falls is just a short walk from a parking lot with restrooms and everything. So I'll show you that when we get there. But this will be the kind of third main road to get us to Franklin. Alright, so we're getting near the end of the 64 section, but I figured if there's people that hadn't been on this road before, or maybe couldn't remember it in a long time, I'd give you a little bit of a preview of some of my favorite parts. You can see on this back section here, it just gets super twisty, and then you've got these super steep cliffs on the right, as well as the guardrail on the left. But the main thing that's on the left is this huge gorge. I'll actually see if I can catch it in the video. See all the kudzu, whatever those plants are. There's two sections of the gorge. That first one is pretty great, but this one's the better one. You can kind of just see it just completely opens up. There's the rock face on the right, and then just absolutely nothing here on the left. It is just insane. Oh, the car almost hit me there. Absolutely gorgeous view. You got the rocks immediately to your right, the guardrail, and this gorgeous view to the left. It is so cool. Such a great drive. Such a great twisty road as well. This is why it's one of my favorites. It's just got some of the best views. It's got some of the waterfalls. The roads itself are fantastic. Just a great way to go. All right, we are coming to the end of 64. This will be the only time we'll actually get on a major highway, and you'll want to stay in the far left lane here. We'll cross underneath of the bridge. You can kind of see here on the Google Maps what to expect, but we'll cross underneath of the bridge, merge onto, I guess it's still considered 64, but I think it's, you know, more known as 1923. This would be the main highway that takes you through to Franklin, as well as all the way into Murphy if you were going that way. And then once we're here, GPS says 5.8 miles. My God, nobody knows how to drive. This is a freaking yield. Everybody's treating it like a stop sign. Go. Goodness gracious. Nobody knows how to use these things. So yeah, 5.8 miles, and then we'll take a right on the short little connector road that'll take us to Waya. So this will be the section where I'll just kind of hang out in the right lane, let everybody kind of regroup, probably keep it a little bit under the speed limit just in case we got separated. That way nobody misses the next turn. So next time I'll see you guys, it'll be when we're getting on to Waya. All right, so if we're gonna lose anybody on the drive, this is where I worry it's gonna happen. So I don't know if you can see, but up ahead on this right turn lane is where we're actually gonna turn to get onto Waya. So I'm gonna hope that by this point we've got everybody grouped back up, because if you blow past this, you can see Waya Bald right there. If you blow past this, you're gonna have a really hard time catching back up with us. You can get to the Dragon if you keep going that way, but you're gonna miss probably the best part of the road. So you can see this is a right-hand turn, kind of like an off-ramp kind of thing. And then almost immediately as we turn onto this road, we're actually gonna hang an immediate left past the Sit-Go. I am not sure if this place is even still open anymore. It was closed for a long time. Oh wow, it actually is open now. It's called Loafer's Glory. Interesting. And then here is the left turn onto Waya, or Waya, however you want to say it. I've always said Waya, but I think it is Waya. This is the longest stretch of the road. This, now that I've got it punched in GPS, says 28 miles. There's so much glare there, but 28 miles of what this road is, and it's fantastic. It's up a hill, it's down a hill, and then it follows the river, and then we'll have another stop at the parking lot at the end, just to regroup and pee and whatever else. So I'll shoot a little bit of video through here, but next time you'll probably hear from me is at the parking lot. have washed out at some point. Love this part of Waya, whatever it is. 1606. All right, we're coming to the end of Waya Road. There's all these little power stations and stuff like that. Cross over these little bridges. And what follows after this, we will stop here at the end. Getting ready to pull into the parking lot where there's tons of room. We can kind of catch up, regroup, do all the normal stuff. But up there straight ahead is where we'll actually turn on to a little connector to 129. Here is the parking lot. You can see tons and tons and tons of use, and there are bathrooms here too. See tons of parking. It's nice to see that much openness as well. And then this is the way out to the stop signs. That way we'll make sure we've got everybody. We'll take the left-hand turn here. And then the next road we'll be on is 129. Not the Tail of the Dragon just yet, but 129 nonetheless. We've got about a 2-mile section of road here before the road kicks to the right for 129. But it's pretty easy to follow the signs. And the next stop after we get on 129 will be in Robbinsville potentially before we actually make it to the Dragon. All right, so we're coming up on the right turn. You can see it's pretty easy to follow the signs for 129. We will cross over the bridge. Past the little closed down. Well, that one was open. This one's been closed for a while, these little gift shops and gas stations. And this is 129. As you can kind of see from the maps here, this is a non-stop 29-mile connector to the Tail of the Dragon. So we'll pretty much just stay here all the way till we hit the Deals Gap begin. All right, so in Robbinsville, I would rather not stop, but we'll talk it out the day of the drive. But there is this nice Shell and McDonald's, everything here to the right, which is a good spot to fill up if anybody needs to top off if they didn't do so back in Highlands. There's plenty of pumps, and the rest of us, if we do decide to stop here, can hang out here in the shopping center. Again, there's a McDonald's, there's a Family Dollar here, and tons of parking. So this is going to be an optional stop. I'll figure out with the group if we want to do this or not. I'm trying to keep the stops down to a minimum just because it's going to be a pretty long drive to get to the Dragon. So I don't want to hang out in the parking lots for an hour 3 times. So this will be an optional stop. It's definitely a good place to top off, fill up, grab food, stuff like that if you're visiting the area. But we'll go ahead and just continue back on to 129 here as it goes through town. From here it is 18 miles or about 23 minutes, says Google Maps, before we hit the Tail of the Dragon store. All right, we have made it to the Tail of the Dragon. It was a pretty smooth ride the last little bit of things. As you can see, Celica fared really well on the roads here. Everything's pretty much closed because it's like 7:15 over here at the 2 different stores, the Killboy store and the Tail of the Dragon store. But this is going to be obviously the start of the Tail of the Dragon for those that haven't done it. I'm not going to have a separate cell phone video for that, but just know initially on the meet, we're not going to stop here. We're actually going to stop at the far end of the Tail of the Dragon there. There's right past the pull-off, maybe another 1.5 miles or so. There's a huge paved area on the right, so we'll be able to kind of regroup there and talk and hang out before kind of splitting things up for the rest of the drive. For anybody else that wants to know the way, if you don't want to go up to Knoxville or something like that, if you were to go back down the Tail of the Dragon the opposite direction, which I came from down the far right side, just on the other side of the Tail of the Dragon sign, where you can see the arrows pointing basically is actually 28. 28 is the easiest and fastest way back to Asheville or other parts of Western North Carolina, like Waynesville, things like that. So actually, when I am done here, that's the direction I'll be going. So just right down that hill where the arrows are, so you just follow that. That's also the direction to Fontana Dam and Fontana Village for anybody that might want to go there. So yeah, we'll probably come back and hang out here in smaller groups once things are kind of broken up. But that should do it for the video. As always, thanks for watching. I hope this was informative for those that are coming to the meet. That's what it's intended for. However, I'm also hoping that this will be a good video down the road for anybody to watch if you're looking for a really fun way to get to the Tail of the Dragon through Asheville without taking the highways. Honestly, my favorite route. It's worth it. It's about a 4-hour drive depending on how you do your stops and stuff like that. Longer if you do stop for sure. But it's great. So as always, thanks for watching and have a great day.